There comes a time in life when you have to learn how to walk alone without losing yourself. Not because you are unwanted, not because you are forgotten, not because you are not worthy of love, support, or companionship. Sometimes you have to walk alone because the road ahead of you is connected to a purpose that not everybody can understand. Everybody cannot see what you see. Everybody cannot feel what you feel. Everybody cannot carry the vision that God has placed inside you. And if you keep waiting for everybody to agree with you, support you, or walk beside you, you may spend your entire life standing still. There are seasons when the crowd disappears, the phone gets quiet. The people you thought would always be there suddenly become distant. The ones who promised to support you may not show up when you need them most. At first, that kind of silence can hurt. You may begin to question yourself. You may ask, what did I do wrong? Why am I alone? Why is nobody helping me? But sometimes the silence is not punishment. Sometimes it is preparation. Sometimes life removes distractions so you can finally hear your own thoughts, recognize your own strength, and understand the direction you are supposed to take. You have to stop believing that being alone means you are weak. Some of the strongest growth in your life will happen when nobody is clapping for you. It is easy to feel motivated when everybody is cheering. It is easy to keep going when people are encouraging you every day. But real strength is developed when you continue, even when nobody notices. Real character is built when you keep showing up, even when there is no applause, no recognition, and no guarantee that your effort will immediately pay off. You cannot allow the absence of people to become the absence of your purpose. Just because somebody left does not mean your dream has to leave with them. Just because somebody rejected you does not mean you should reject yourself. Just because somebody failed to see your value does not mean you should lower your value. You have to learn how to stand firmly in who you are, even when other people do not understand you. There will be moments when you have to make decisions by yourself. You may have to start the business alone, study alone, practice alone, change your habits alone, walk away from distractions alone, wake up early alone, work on your goals alone. And when you are building something meaningful, you cannot always wait for someone to hold your hand through every step. At some point, you have to become responsible for the life you want. Walking alone teaches you things that comfort never could. When you are alone, you discover how much strength you actually possess. You learn how to make decisions without constantly seeking approval. You learn how to trust your judgment. You learn how to survive disappointment without allowing it to define you. You learn that you can lose people and still keep moving. You can experience failure and still try again. You can feel afraid and still take the next step. Do not be afraid of the season where you have to walk by yourself. Use that season. Read more, learn more, think more deeply, work on your character, improve your skills, build your confidence through action. Stop spending all your energy trying to convince people to understand your dream. The people who are meant to recognize your journey will recognize it in time. But your responsibility is not to force everybody to believe in you. Your responsibility is to believe enough in your purpose to keep moving forward. And understand this. Walking alone does not mean you will be alone forever. Sometimes you have to become the person you need before the right people can find you. When you grow, your environment may change. Your mindset may change. Your standards may change. The things you once tolerated may no longer fit the person you are becoming. That transition can feel lonely, but it is often necessary. Do not run back to old places simply because the new path feels unfamiliar. Do not return to people who constantly made you doubt yourself just because you were afraid of being alone. There is a difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness says, nobody is here for me. Solitude says, I am using this time to become stronger. Change the way you see the season. Instead of asking, why am I alone? Ask yourself, what can I build while I have this time? You may not have everybody beside you, but you still have a choice. You can complain about who is missing, or you can focus on what is still in your hands. You still have time. You still have breath. You still have the ability to learn, work, grow, and begin again. You still have a future that has not been written completely, and every day you choose to keep moving, you are proving that your strength does not depend entirely on who stays. Walk alone if you have to, but do not walk without purpose. Keep your heart open, but do not make your progress dependent on other people's presence. Keep loving people, but do not abandon yourself to keep them. Keep appreciating support, but do not believe you cannot succeed without constant support. There is a strength that appears when you finally realize, I may not have everything I want around me right now, but I still have enough within me to take the next step. Your journey may begin in silence. Your progress may happen privately. Your growth may be invisible to everybody else, but that does not make it less real. Every step you take alone is teaching you how to stand. Every difficult day you survive is developing your endurance. Every time you refuse to give up on yourself, you are becoming stronger than the version of you that once needed everybody's approval. So if the road is empty, keep walking. If the crowd disappears, keep moving. If nobody understands the vision, keep building. You do not need everybody to see the destination in order for you to take the next step. Sometimes the greatest transformation begins when you stop waiting for company and start becoming the person you were meant to be. Stop waiting for somebody to come and build your life for you. There's a moment when you have to understand that your future is your responsibility. People can encourage you. People can guide you. People can open a door for you. But nobody can walk through that door in your place. Nobody can wake up every morning and make your decisions for you. Nobody can develop your discipline, protect your focus, or chase your dreams on your behalf. At some point, you have to take ownership of the life you want. Too many people spend years waiting. They wait for the perfect opportunity. They wait for the right person to believe in them. They wait for more money, more confidence, more experience, or more support. They keep telling themselves, one day I will start. But one day does not build a future. Decisions do. Actions do. Consistency does. You cannot keep waiting for perfect conditions because life rarely gives you perfect conditions. Most successful journeys begin with uncertainty, limited resources, fear, and questions. The difference is that someone decides to start anyway. You have to stop asking, who is going to save me? And start asking, what can I do with what I have? That question changes everything. Maybe you do not have the connections you want. Maybe you do not have the money you wish you had. Maybe you do not have the support system you imagined, but you still have the ability to learn. You still have the ability to improve. You still have the ability to take one step today that you could not take yesterday. Your life will begin to change when you stop focusing on what you lack and start using what you possess. You may not have the whole staircase in front of you, but you can take the next step. You may not know exactly how everything will work out, but you can begin. You may not feel ready, but readiness often comes after action, not before it. Confidence is built by doing difficult things. Discipline is built by keeping promises to yourself. Strength is built by facing what you once tried to avoid. Nobody is coming to force you to become disciplined. Nobody's going to make you put down the distractions. Nobody's going to make you study, practice, work, plan, or improve. People can give you advice, but you have to apply it. People can give you opportunities, but you have to prepare for them. People can believe in you, but you still have to believe enough in yourself to take action. You cannot blame your entire future on your past. Maybe you were not given the best opportunities. Maybe people disappointed you. Maybe you made mistakes. Maybe you wasted time. Maybe you started and stopped more times than you can remember. But the past cannot be changed by constantly talking about it. At some point, you have to decide that your next chapter will not be controlled by your previous one. Taking responsibility does not mean pretending that life is easy. It means refusing to surrender your power. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. You can choose whether you will remain stuck or begin again. You can choose whether failure will become your identity or become your teacher. You can choose whether rejection will destroy your confidence or push you to improve. The person who builds their own life understands that small actions matter. You do not need to transform everything in one day. You need to make better choices repeatedly. Wake up and do the work. Learn something useful. Improve one skill. Take care of your responsibilities. Remove one distraction. Make one important decision. Then do it again tomorrow. Your future is not created by one dramatic moment. It is created by the things you repeatedly do when nobody is watching. You have to become tired of making excuses for the life you are not building. Excuses may explain why something has not happened, but they cannot create the future you want. At some point, you have to move beyond explanation and into action. You can explain why you are afraid, or you can take the step while you are afraid. You can explain why you failed, or you can learn from the failure and try again. You can explain why you are behind, or you can start moving forward from where you are. Do not wait for permission to become better. You do not need permission to improve your mindset. You do not need permission to change your habits. You do not need permission to set goals. You do not need permission to walk away from what is destroying your focus. You have the right to make a different decision for your life. But responsibility also requires patience. You cannot plant a seed today and demand a tree tomorrow. You cannot work for a few days and expect a lifetime of results. Building yourself takes time. There will be days when your effort feels invisible. There will be moments when you wonder whether your sacrifices are worth it. That is when you have to remember why you started. Progress is not always loud. Sometimes progress is simply refusing to return to the habits that kept you stuck. Build yourself when nobody is watching. Build your knowledge, build your character, build your skills, build your confidence through action. Build your ability to keep going when motivation disappears. Build a life that does not depend on constant approval from other people. When you take responsibility for your growth, you stop waiting for rescue and start becoming your own evidence. The world may not always give you what you deserve immediately. People may not recognize your effort. Opportunities may not come when you expect them. But you cannot allow delayed results to convince you that your work is meaningless. Keep preparing, keep learning, keep improving. The work you do today may be preparing you for an opportunity you cannot see yet. Your life is not something that somebody else is going to hand you fully completed. It is something you build decision by decision, habit by habit, and day by day. You may receive help along the way, and you should appreciate the people who support you. But never forget that the responsibility for your direction belongs to you. The moment you accept that responsibility, you stop waiting for your life to change and begin becoming the person capable of changing it. Your struggles are not proof that you are weak. They are not evidence that your life is over. They are not a permanent definition of who you are. Sometimes the very season you wish you could escape becomes the season that develops the strength you will need for the future you are praying for. You may not understand the struggle while you are in it, but that does not mean it has no purpose. Every difficult moment can teach you something about yourself, your choices, your strength, and the kind of person you are becoming. There are times when life will test you in ways you never expected. You may face rejection after giving everything you had. You may fail at something you believed would succeed. You may lose opportunities, friendships, or plans that you thought were guaranteed. You may look around and wonder why everything seems to be working against you. In those moments, it is easy to believe that the struggle is trying to destroy you, but sometimes the struggle is revealing what needs to be strengthened. Pressure has a way of showing you what is really inside you. When everything is comfortable, anybody can feel strong. When the money is coming, the support is there, and the opportunities are flowing, it is easy to say you believe in yourself. But what happens when the results are delayed? What happens when the people you trusted disappoint you? What happens when you work hard and still do not see immediate progress? That is where your character begins to develop. You have to understand that failure is an event, not an identity. You can fail without being a failure. You can make a bad decision without being a bad person. You can lose an opportunity without losing your future. You can fall behind without being permanently behind. The mistake is not always the end of the story. Sometimes it becomes the lesson that prevents you from making a bigger mistake later. Do not allow one painful chapter to convince you that the entire book is finished. You have more chapters to write. You may have experienced disappointment, but disappointment does not have to become your permanent address. You may have been rejected, but rejection does not mean you are rejected by life. You may have been overlooked, but being overlooked today does not mean you will remain invisible forever. The struggle can teach you patience. It can teach you preparation. It can teach you how to recognize the difference between people who truly support you and people who only enjoy being around you when everything is easy. It can teach you to appreciate progress that you once took for granted. It can teach you that you are stronger than you thought you were. Sometimes you do not discover your strength until you are forced to use it. You may say, I cannot handle this, and then somehow you make it through another day. You may believe you have reached your limit, and then you find the courage to take one more step. You may think you have nothing left, and then you discover that there is still something inside you that refuses to quit. That refusal to quit is powerful. It does not mean you never feel tired. It does not mean you never cry, doubt yourself, or become frustrated. Strength does not mean you are never affected by difficulty. Strength means difficulty does not get the final word. You can be tired and still continue. You can be afraid and still move forward. You can be disappointed and still choose not to give up on your future. Do not waste your pain. Learn from it. Ask yourself what the difficult season is teaching you. Is it teaching you to become more disciplined? Is it showing you that you need better boundaries? Is it teaching you to stop depending on people who constantly let you down? Is it showing you that you need to improve your skills? Is it pushing you toward a new direction? Every struggle contains a lesson if you are willing to look for it. But remember, you do not have to pretend that everything is fine. You do not have to smile through every difficult moment or act like pain does not affect you. You are allowed to acknowledge that something is hard. You are allowed to take a breath. You are allowed to ask for healthy support. You are allowed to learn at your own pace. Being strong does not mean denying your feelings. It means refusing to let temporary difficulty control your entire future. Your struggle can become part of your story without becoming the whole story. One day, the obstacle that made you question yourself may become the experience that taught you confidence. The failure that embarrassed you may become the lesson that made you wiser. The rejection that hurt you may redirect you toward an opportunity that fits you better. The season that felt like a delay may have been preparing you for something you were not ready to handle before. Do not compare your journey to somebody else's. You may look at another person's success and wonder why their path seems easier, but you do not know what they had to overcome. You do not know the battles they fought privately. And more importantly, your journey is not supposed to look exactly like theirs. Your job is not to become somebody else. Your job is to become stronger, wiser, more disciplined, and more prepared than you were before. Every time you overcome a challenge, you collect evidence that you can survive difficult seasons. Every time you learn from a mistake, you become wiser. Every time you keep going after disappointment, you develop endurance. Every time you choose growth instead of bitterness, you become stronger. The struggle may have changed you, but you get to decide how it changes you. You can allow it to make you bitter, or you can allow it to make you wiser. You can allow it to convince you that you are powerless, or you can use it as a reason to take greater responsibility for your future. You can remain focused on what happened, or you can begin asking what you will do next. Your pain is not the end of your purpose. Your failure is not the end of your potential. Your difficult season is not the final version of your life. Keep learning, keep growing, keep rebuilding. Let every challenge teach you something. Let every setback strengthen your character, and let every difficult day remind you that you are still capable of taking another step forward. You do not have to announce every move you are making. You do not have to tell everybody what you are planning, where you are going, or how hard you are working. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is become quiet and focused. There is a difference between talking about your goals and building your goals. Talking can give you temporary excitement, but action creates real progress. You can tell the world what you are going to do, or you can spend that same energy doing the work. When you are serious about changing your life, you have to learn how to work without constant recognition. Not every effort will receive applause. Not every sacrifice will be noticed. Not every late night, early morning, difficult decision or personal improvement will be celebrated by other people. But that does not mean the work is useless. Some of the most important progress in your life will happen when nobody is watching. You have to become comfortable with private progress. Improve your mindset quietly. Learn new skills quietly. Develop better habits quietly. Save your energy for the work instead of spending it trying to convince people that you are working. You do not need to explain every step to people who are not walking your journey. You do not need to defend every decision to people who do not understand your vision. There is power in keeping your focus away from unnecessary opinions. The more you announce every plan, the more opinions you may invite. One person will tell you that your dream is too big. Another will tell you that you should do something else. Someone may remind you of every mistake you have ever made. Someone else may doubt you because they cannot imagine themselves doing what you are trying to do. If you allow every opinion to control you, you will never move in a clear direction. That does not mean you should reject all advice. Wise advice can help you avoid mistakes. The right people can encourage you and help you grow. But you must learn the difference between valuable guidance and unnecessary noise. Not everybody deserves access to your plan. Not everybody needs to know what you are building. Protect your focus. Sometimes you have to let people misunderstand you while you continue improving. Let them think you are quiet because you have nothing to say. Let them think you are moving slowly because they cannot see the work happening behind the scenes. Let them underestimate you if they choose. Your responsibility is not to constantly prove yourself through words. Your responsibility is to keep developing until your results speak for you. Results have a different kind of power. When you talk about what you are going to do, people can doubt you. When you begin to work, people may still doubt you. When you make progress, people may still question you. But when the results become visible, you no longer have to explain everything. The work begins to speak. That is why you must stay focused during the process. You cannot allow the desire for immediate recognition to make you quit. Some people stop because they do not receive attention quickly enough. They begin something, announce it to everybody, and then become discouraged when nobody responds. But your dream cannot depend on applause. If you only work when people praise you, you will stop when they become silent. Build because the work matters to you. Build because you know you are capable of becoming better. Build because your future deserves your effort. Build because you are tired of remaining the same person. Let your motivation come from something deeper than attention. There will be days when you do not feel motivated. There will be days when the work feels repetitive. There will be days when nobody notices your improvement. That is where discipline becomes important. Motivation may help you begin, but discipline helps you continue. You have to keep showing up even when the excitement disappears. The person you want to become is built through repeated choices. Every time you choose to focus instead of getting distracted, you are building yourself. Every time you choose to learn instead of making excuses, you are building yourself. Every time you choose patience instead of giving up, you are building yourself. Every time you choose to continue after a setback, you are building yourself. Do not underestimate small progress. A small improvement repeated consistently can completely change your life over time. You may not notice the difference after one day. You may not notice it after 1 week, but keep going. The person who continues learning, working, and improving will eventually become different from the person who refused to start. You have to trust the process even when the process is quiet. A seed does not become a tree overnight. Growth often begins beneath the surface before anyone can see it. Your preparation may be invisible today, but that does not mean it is meaningless. The skills you are developing, the discipline you are building, and the lessons you are learning are preparing you for opportunities that may come later. Do not become so desperate to prove yourself that you destroy your peace. You do not need to respond to every critic. You do not need to argue with every doubter. You do not need to explain your worth to people who have already decided not to see it. Keep your energy for the work. Keep your attention on your direction. One day, people may ask how you changed so much. They may wonder when you became so disciplined, so focused, so confident, and so determined. They may not have seen the quiet mornings. They may not have seen the difficult choices. They may not have seen the days when you continue without encouragement, but you will know. You will know that your results were built in the moments nobody applauded. You will know that your strength was developed when you had to keep going without recognition. You will know that the life you built came from thousands of small decisions made in private. So stop trying to convince everybody. Stop announcing every move. Stop seeking approval from people who are not responsible for your future. Work quietly, learn quietly, grow quietly, stay consistent. Let your discipline become stronger than your need for attention. Let your progress become undeniable. Let the results of your efforts speak in a language that nobody can ignore.